I want to get caught up on this story so I can be, you know, up to date here. So yeah, let's just watch.
In the beginning, angels and demons fought endlessly in a war known as the Eternal Conflict. Their goal was to hold sway over all creation in the name of chaos and order respectively. At the heart of their war was a powerful artifact known as the World Stone, a reality-altering relic that granted untold power to those who would wield it. Yet
Oh, the
neither
demo's
side
out for
would
Street Fighter
hold it
6?
in their
That's awesome.
possession for long. The main stage of the Diablo series.
Are you looking at all the characters? Yes, I will be looking at all the different character builds. For now, I want to get caught up on the story. I'm going to watch this like lore video, and then I'm going to go through all the character builds. Yeah. Welcome, Tommy.
Named Sanctuary.
Tommy, have you decided what character you're going to play? If so, please let me know.
A world created by the conjoined forces of the high heavens and burning hells to escape from this eternal war. Led by the archangel Inarius and the daughter of hatred, Lilith, in a blasphemous unison, they stole and used the great monolithic crystalline world stone, fragmented from the god Anu, to create their sanctuary in hopes of obtaining peace from the never-ending war of their brethren. The stone with the
Dude, this story is a little bit much. Okay. Wanted to know, no idea what I'm going to play. Not sure what all is in there. Yeah, right on. Well, after that, yeah, I'm going to watch through all those videos after this one. So, yeah, we're going to check them out.
then rest at the heart of the world and remain a source of great power as it was hidden within the mountain region of Arieton Sanctuary. It's
hard
here
for me to
we would
follow
see
all
the
this.
rise of the first humans in the cosmology of Diablo. Created by the union of angel and demon, these Nephilim would become the predominant peoples of the planet and the center of events throughout the game's timeline.
So, like, all people in this universe are, like, descendants from Lilith and Inarius, I guess. An angel from heaven and a demon girl from hell. Okay, gotcha.
Fearing the growing power of these Nephilim, it was put before Inarius that they should be destroyed to prevent the forces of heaven and hell from finding sanctuary and laying waste to his new paradise, as they had done so many times before across the course of the eternal conflict. This decision would not sit well with Inarius, so he went into
Good
quiet
choice, Blackstar.
contemplation to mull over this drastic choice. However, Lilith would not hear of proposed filicide, having need of the power of the Nephilim to fulfill her goal of overthrowing the high heavens and burning hells and being the sole victor of the eternal conflict. And so, in a fit of rage, Lilith took the form of a beast of fang and claw and began to slay every rogue angel and demon who lacked the good sense to return to their respective planes. This action angered Inarius, but as he truly had feelings for Lilith, he vowed he would never kill her, nor could he harm her, and instead chose to banish her to a bleak realm of nothingness called the Void.
Okay. I'm a little bit confused here because it seemed like they were saying that humans are the Nephilim. But I guess, right? Humans are the Nephilim is what they're saying, and that they're born from these two. And that Lilith was like just like Jack and everyone that like was still in Sanctuary Earth. And I'm just like trying to put this all together. And then like if that's correct, and then like Inarius banished Lilith because she was just jacking everybody.
This action angered Inarius, but as he truly had feelings for Lilith, he vowed he would never kill her, nor could he harm her, and instead chose to banish her to a bleak realm of nothingness called the Void.
In the Void.
The power of the Nephilim still proved too great to ignore. So Inarius attuned the World Stone to lessen their power gradually over time, reducing them to powerless humans and robbing the Nephilim of their immortality. Those who rose up against Inarius.
Okay, so the Nephilim were immortals. They were the humans, but then the World Stone, which you can change like the world tiers, like how hard everything is. He tuned it down so that everyone was soft and weak, and then for some reason that made it so that, or he tuned it so that everything was so dangerous that they were not so strong, I guess, or something like that. I don't know.
During this time would suffer under his wrath and be slain. Inarius had gone into hiding not long after leaving the world without leadership or guidance. Mankind would not sit idly by, and as tribes formed, civilizations rose across the world, forming their own governments and organizations. And man would eventually seek to restore their own power, developing the various forms of magic we see throughout history.
Right.
One such form of magic, the power of conjuring spirits, was developed by the Vigerai, the spirit clan of mages. One mage, Jerry Harash, would conjure a spirit in a particularly dark mood and attract the soul of a demon from the burning hells by accident. Realizing what he'd conjured
This is
too
Diablo
late,
1.
he banished the spirit back, but that demon would reveal to the prime evils the location and existence of Sanctuary. The prime evils would then set a foothold on Sanctuary, realizing humanity could be used as a viable weapon, and established their own Temple of the Triune. In response, Inarius, desperate, returned from hiding and founded the Cathedral of Light to counter the influences of the Triune on humanity, and thus began the battle for the soul of mankind, known as the Sin War. During this time, Lilith found a way back into the world from the void and began attempting to rebuild her army of Nephilim, weaving her...
Alright, so like Inarius, he got some soldiers and he's like fighting people. Like, I'm kind of confused here, but alright, let's just keep going.
...influences on a farmer by the name of Uldician Uldiomed, while in the guise of a young human woman, along with his brother Mendeln and two of his friends, Achilleos and Serenthia. The crew would rally the people of southern Kyrgyzstan, forming an army of powered Nephilim known as the Edirim, and take on the Triune and the Cathedral of Light in tandem. It wouldn't take long before Lilith's manipulations were revealed and defeated as well, as she was banished for a second time to the Void by Inarius, before Inarius himself was defeated in combat by the farmer Uldician. The damage was done, and
dude,
Sanctuary
that farmer destroyed an angel, dude. That's sick, dude. We're gonna be the farmer.
was now in plain view of both the high heavens and burning hells as a new battleground. However, in a joint decision by the Angiras Council of the High Heavens and Mephisto of the Burning Hells, Sanctuary was decidedly left alone and not destroyed as so many other worlds had been before, and they instead opted to stay out of humanity's way, but also watch them from a distance, but at a price. Inarius was promptly gifted by the high heavens to Mephisto as a peace offering, and for his transgressions, he was tormented in the realm of hatred for the next 3,000 years. And at the culmination of the battle, Uldician had sacrificed himself, lending his own essence to the whole of Sanctuary, sending both the armies of heaven and hell back to their respective planes, and the World Stone was then reattuned, limiting the power of the Nephilim. Now leaderless, after the fall of the Temple of Triune and Cathedral of Light, the Mage clans assumed control of the political landscape of Sanctuary. The most powerful, the Vigerai, would hold the greatest influence, but internal strife would cause the delicate balance of power to collapse. Two brothers, Bartok and Horizon of the Vigerai, would struggle for control, not learning the lesson with summoning of demons. The two...
Okay, I don't know. Is this just me, or is this like insanely impossible to follow? Like what I... And then there's Bartok and Horizon of the clans of the humans, and they were brothers, and it's a lot, dude. I can't... Like, maybe, is it just me, or like, is this hard for you guys too?
Waged a bloody war against each other, arguing over how to utilize demons to their advantage, causing immense devastation across the world and losing faith in the mage clans by the people of Sanctuary. It's at this time the mage clans became reviled in the people's eyes, and religion would move in to take its place, and an ascetic priest by the name of Akarat would found the religion of the Zakarum, becoming the dominant political power across the land, setting up footholds across all the world, from Kurast, the center of power, to Westmarch in the far western lands of Kandurus. The failure of the prime evils during the Sin War would spark a civil war in the Burning Hells, ultimately ending in the exile of the prime evils, Mephisto, Baal and Diablo to Sanctuary, thanks to the combined forces of the lesser evils, where they were hunted and imprisoned by a group of mages, a clandestine group known as the Herodrum that was formed surreptitiously by the
I think it would be helpful if they kind of were giving me like some like timeline of like what game they're talking about when they're like doing different things, because like I can maybe put it into more context if I understood what game they were talking about. This seems like this is Diablo 2 though.
Archangel Tyrael as to not break the High Heaven's former pact to stay off Sanctuary. These Herodric hunts resulted in the Primes being held in specially attuned Worldstone shards, known as Soul Stones. One was safeguarded by the Zakarum and Kurast. One was sealed in the chest of the leader of the Herodrum, Tal Rasha, deep in the sands of Aranok. And the last was buried within a labyrinth built into the hills of Kandaras, which would later become known as Tristram. The influence of the prime evils was too much for the stones to contain, however, and Mephisto would begin to seep out his hatred throughout the Zakarum church,
that's like the original
taking
Diablo
over the
game.
head of the order, Sankakur, after their former leader, Kaleem, would not yield to evil's influence, his will just being too great. Mephisto counted on the events leading to the current state of being and set in motion his plan to free his brothers and once again use Sanctuary as a staging point to grow the power of the burning hells.
Right.
He would then send the great adherent Leoric and his Archbishop Lazarus to Kandaras to find his seat of power.
Well, it would be nice as well if they gave a definition of what is a Nephilim or Herodrum. They actually did, I think. At the beginning, they said that the Nephilim is actually humans, and that they were immortal at first, and then they became mortal and weaker because Inarius attuned the World Stone, which, like, in game, that mechanic is like, you know, like nightmare level, hell level, all the different like levels of like the World Stone, of like how difficult thing is. He like attuned it, either making things not as strong or strong, like in some kind of way that like made it so that the humans there were not. Maybe it actually just also controlled how strong we were. So yeah, we, as if I'm in this game, humans. So yeah, the Nephilim became mortal, and they became weaker. So that's what the Nephilim are, which is interesting.
In Tristram, and free his brother as their new king, with the ultimate goal of the now corrupted Lazarus unearthing the Crimson Soul Stone, holding the youngest of the prime evils, Diablo's soul. This brings us then to the events of Diablo 1. Tristram with Leoric.
Oh, now we're in Diablo 1. So all of that was just like what happened before Diablo 1 even happened. Okay. Yeah, which different characters in each time zone. Okay, so like the story elapses all over. So it's not just like 1, 2, and 3. It's like they're all happening at different times. That's interesting, right? Or they're all kind of happening simultaneously. Well, not all of them, because some things happen before others, obviously, you know. But it's like they're not all exactly just like number 1, number 2, number 3. They're all kind of happening like at different times and kind of overlapping a bit and stuff. Okay.
As their king would flourish for a time, but quickly descend into destitution. Lazarus found Diablo's prison, and after failing to utilize Leoric as the demon's host, turned his youngest son, Ulbricht. The disappearance of Ulbricht would drive the king mad, slaughtering the citizens of Tristram out of suspicion, until his own knights would slay him, but not before he muttered a curse that would bind them to him even in undeath as the Skeleton King. Soon after, 3 heroes would come to Tristram's aid. Morena of the Sisterhood of the Sightless Eye, Jazrith of the Vigerai, and Aidan, the eldest son of Leoric, and they would liberate the town from the evil influence of Leoric and Lazarus.
Okay.
But Lazarus's work was complete, and Diablo had found its new host in the young Ulbricht. After a grueling fight with the beast on the outskirts of hell, Aidan, the warrior, realizing Diablo would once again escape, mistakenly took the Soul Stone into his own body to seal the demon.
Yeah.
But this act would not stop the plans of Mephisto, for the all-consuming influence of the prime evils would snuff out the light and leave only darkness in its wake. After a time of recovery and celebration, Aidan, Morena, and Jazrith would leave from Tristram, but the burning...
This can be related back to the Old Testament. Are you serious? You just mean Nephilim, like just because that's in the Old Testament? Is there anything else other than that? It doesn't seem like this has anything to do with like the Old Testament and all. This is just like some crazy fantasy stuff. But that's interesting. Let me know what is it? What kind of links are there?
Hells would follow in their wake. Demons and undead ravaged the town of Tristram and spread throughout the land. In Diablo 2.
Oh yeah, just the names. Yeah, I mean, because like Diablo, like and Mephisto. Yeah. It's just mythology though. It's not like it has anything to do with like the Old Testament. Like that's just like the mythology of like Nephilim and Mephisto, Baal, all that kind of stuff.
2. 5 heroes, including Cassia the Amazon, Zul the Necromancer.
Oh, yeah, dude, right here. This is sick. Okay, so. Oh, they gave names to these ones. That's interesting.
Sendra, the sorceress, along with a yet unnamed barbarian and paladin, would arise to answer this new surge of evil. Aiden, now possessed by Diablo, had set out across the land, heading east towards Kurast, and, having corrupted Morena, now the dreaded Bloodraven, enlisted the aid of the lesser evils Andariel and her twin brother Juriel, who had been summoned to Sanctuary from the burning hells by a summoning that Morena was coerced into. These two lesser evils acted to slow the heroes from catching up with this new dark wanderer and his quest to free his imprisoned brother Baal, whose location was hidden by lost Herodic knowledge, which the party uncovers in Horizon's arcane sanctuary, now inhabited by a newly corrupted Jazrith, the Summoner.
Okay, I'm actually I think I'm remembering all of this. So like because I wasn't at the end of Diablo 2. There's like that guy that's like going through the desert, right? And at the end, it's the guy from Diablo 1 that stuck the crystal into his head, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I think I remember that.
Heroes would then locate the prison of the demon Baal with the
and who like did that with this head, and what that was the soul crystal of like Diablo, and he like was basically like possessed by Diablo. Yeah. Oh, okay. I think I'm getting
Tristram's
it.
town scholar and last of the Horodrim, Deckard Cain, rescued from the ruins of Tristram, but it's too late. Now freed, Baal and Diablo steal across the Twin Seas to Kurast and soon join together with their brother Mephisto, who opens a portal to the burning hells for Diablo and sends Baal to gather himself and rally his forces to launch an assault against Ariat and corrupt the coveted World Stone, while Mephisto holds off the heroes in the depths of the Travancore Temple. Diablo is then pursued into hell by the heroes, and with the aid of the Archangel Tyrael, he is defeated, and his and Mephisto's soul stones were destroyed at the Great Hellforge, presumably ending the two evils for good. The heroes then follow after Baal.
That's right, we
joined
did that.
by a druid of Skosglen and an assassin of the Vizjaktar, the heroes confront Baal within the world's
Actually, now that I remember, I played Assassin as well. Assassin was so cool. That was such a good character.
Stone Keep, who has laid waste to the barbarian homeland. But Baal has completed Mephisto's plan, corrupting the Great Stone with a shard of his own soul stone. Even with the destruction of Baal, it's too late to reverse the damage, and in a last-ditch effort, Tyrael destroys the World Stone, scattering its shards across Sanctuary. In Diablo Immortal, Diablo's minion Skarn begins collecting shards
to sell you for $9.99.
Of the World Stone for the burning hells to resurrect the Lord of Terror. But with the aid of the Archangel Gilnira, these efforts fail, and the heroes stop the resurrection of Diablo. To hear more of this story, donate $24.99 to the channel. I'm joking. Moving on. 20 years pass between Diablo 2 and 3, with very little happening in between. But then Tyrael, who was thought dead, is resurrected after he was destroyed in the blast of the Worldstone's destruction, forsaking his angelic mantle, and is sent plummeting to Sanctuary, where he plays his part.
Okay, I remember this one in Diablo 3 because like I remember like that, like the last area in Diablo 3, you actually go to like heaven and like fight angels and stuff. It's freaking crazy.
But in the event of the end of days prophecy,
I thought that was hella
Deckard
cool.
Cain and his adopted niece Leah, with the aid of another band of heroes, a barbarian, a wizard, a witch doctor, a monk, and a demon hunter, all canonically yet unnamed, save for some lesser connections to the short stories that may be cemented lore-wise in D4, uncover a plot of another lesser evil, Belial, who has sent his minion Magda and her coven to obtain the fallen star for himself. After killing Cain, an enraged Leah unleashes a terrific torrent of power, revealing a hidden gift within. After the heroes save Tyrael,
Diablo 3 looked like a cartoon. It looked like a World of Warcraft cartoon, dude. Diablo 3 was a little bit too, like, happy-go-lucky, like, Saturday morning cartoons right here, you know what I'm saying?
from Magda and
I say that with, like, these, like, decapitated, like, corpses with blood everywhere. But, like, the art style was, like, a little bit too much like you're trying to make this a MOBA or something.
restore, in part, his angelic power, they set out across the lands to stop Belial and the final lesser evil, Azmodan, who has mounted an assault from the crater of Ariat, all while learning more about Leah's growing power. They find and rescue the witch Adria, who is revealed to be Leah's mother and mentors in her growth. They also resurrect the slain Herodric mage Zoltan Kuhl, who constructed another soul stone capable of holding the souls of all 7 great evils. He also reveals to the heroes of their long dormant power and sets them on the
Dude, isn't this dude in Diablo, or isn't this dude in Destiny 2, and he, like, sells you, like, you get, like, spider currency from him or something? Isn't this dude in like, Destiny 2 right here?
path to awakening it. With the Black Soul Stone, the heroes captured the essence of Belial and Azmodan. Yet, strangely, the essences of the other 5 slain evils reside within already. Strangely, that is, until Adria reveals that she altered the stone and bound the evil's essence to it, drawing them in during a time of their demise. But the Soul Stone was complete without a host. However, one perfect candidate exists. Leah, the daughter of Adria and Prince Aiden, after he imprisoned Diablo within himself, joins with the Soul Stone, and now in possession of all 7 evils, becomes the prime evil, the living incarnation of Tathamet, the great 7-headed dragon that became the Burning Hells. Now powerful enough to mount an assault against the high heavens, Diablo routs the forces of heaven and nearly succeeds in destroying the Crystal Arch, before an awakened Nephilim, the heroes of Diablo 3, traveled with Leah, stops Diablo at the pinnacle of heaven. For a time after, all is quiet, save for a small coup involving Tyrael absconding from heaven with the Black Soul Stone to prevent its corruptive influences from doing any more damage to the high heaven. But one other angel desires its power also.
Anarius.
Malthael, the once Archangel of Wisdom, now Angel of Death, takes the stone from Tyrael and launches a campaign to destroy the population of Sanctuary and the Burning Hells, as he deems the humans of Sanctuary, being part demon, evil. Malthael nearly succeeds if not for the intervention of the same awakened Nephilim, which...
Yeah, so this is the expansion for Diablo 3. I guess that's like the only thing I suppose I did not do in the Diablo timeline. I didn't play Immortal either because I'm not, I'm not stupid. But yeah, I didn't do the expansions for Diablo 3.
We, the hero, control. This is even after Malthael absorbs the souls of the 7 evils trapped in the Black Soul Stone, which are released upon his death. It's also during this time that a Crusader and Necromancer join the ranks of the heroes. But who ends up being the canonical hero of Diablo 3 and Reaper of Souls is yet to be revealed. Perhaps we shall see in Diablo 4. This takes us to the upcoming addition to the timeline with Diablo 4. Please forgive the extremely abridged account of events. I want to fit in as much as I could into one timeline recap. The full story is much more nuanced, obviously, and I invite you to view the story in full, found in the play section of this channel, which will be fleshed out further when the game comes out. What we do currently know
This is that first cutscene, dude. Is so gross, dude.
Released by the machinations of a enigmatic pale summoner known as Elias, and has begun to spread her influences around Sanctuary and the Burning Hells. Anarius, curiously, has also returned, but by whose hand yet is unknown, and we will see in time. And what of the fates of the 7 great evils? We've seen Andariel and Duriel in gameplay teasers, but no hints as to the whereabouts of Diablo, Mephisto, Baal, Belial, and Azmodan. Save for Lilith's cult.
Yeah, because that's going to be DLC.
What we do know is 5 heroes have joined the fight this time, with the Barbarian, Sorcerer, Necromancer, Druid and Rogue classes making up the first installment of playable heroes. Who knows how their stories will unfold and how your choices will influence them, but we hope to see you in Sanctuary
That's
in
cool.
June to find out.
Yeah, did that give you some goosebumps? You getting excited?
I don't know if you would have chosen to stand beside me in this new world.
So it's-
Rosma. But I would have saved your place
I don't know who that is.
just the same.
I don't know what this is.
Now,
Who is this?
all that you might have been has been stolen from me.
That's not her boyfriend.
Stolen.
Her boyfriend was Inarius. Should she get a new boyfriend?
This
Oh,
key
that's me?
unlocks more than the doors of hell. It unlocks our path to the future. A future made possible because of the price you paid.
What, that dead character is us? Is this must happen later on in the game. I guess I didn't get to this part.
Your sacrifice will not have been in vain.
You're saying that is us. In the game we die? That doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about? Alright, anyways, that was quite a bit of lore dump right there, guys. That was quite a bit of lore dump. It's only a guess because I have no information on him at all. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Alright, well, I guess we'll see what happens when we play more of the game, right? So that was